This is shocking news because in Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 236, we saw how Sukuna had seemingly killed Gojo, and hearing this had left many Gojo fans feeling quite upset. However, it turns out that he hasn't actually died, and we have some proof of this. But before I go into that, let me tell you that everyone knows about Gojo's immortality. However, in Jujutsu Kaisen, both Gojo and Sukuna are extremely popular, and both of them are incredibly strong to the point where no other character can defeat them. Secondly, we shouldn't forget that this series is shonen, so anything can happen here, and even a living person can come back. So without wasting any time, let's get to the point that Gojo hasn't died yet. There are several points and theories about this. For example, in the Gojo versus Toji fight, Gojo endured a similar attack in which he was badly injured. And at that time, everyone thought he was dead, but later he was shown to be alive. And it was explained that he survived because of the reverse curse technique. In the reverse curse technique, as long as the user's head isn't severed, they won't die. Sukuna didn't actually cut Gojo's head. He cut through his body. There's still a possibility that Gojo can use the reverse curse technique himself, because at one point, Sukuna tells him, "I won't forget you as long as I live." And at that moment, Gojo is seen smiling. As I mentioned earlier, in the reverse curse technique, as long as the user's head remains connected to their body, they can survive. So according to this, Gojo hasn't died yet. Now, some might wonder why this is the case. I can explain that the power source for the reverse curse technique is a sorcerer's brain, whereas the normal curse technique power source is in a sorcerer's stomach. So as long as Gojo's brain is separate from his body, he can still use the reverse curse technique. By any chance, if Gojo cannot use the reverse curse technique, will he really die? Well, friends, that's not the case at all, because there are still some sorcerers who can transfer their reverse curse technique, like Yuta and Shoko. Yuta has had a significant role in this series. And on the other hand, Shoko, who hasn't been as involved in the series, might have her moment now. Some fans may not accept all of this and might argue that Gojo could die due to blood loss. In my opinion, their point is valid. In the Gojo versus Toji fight, we saw Gojo lose a significant amount of blood, but he still managed to come back using the reverse curse technique. And there's something to think about regarding the fact that his curse technique has been sealed in the middle of the series, but his reverse curse technique is still in his brain. So it's possible that we might see it again. However, some might still be wondering about his dream that we saw at the beginning of chapter 236. In that scene, Gojo was bidding farewell to all his friends, Geto, Nanami, and everyone else. But think about it. When a person dies, they don't bid farewell to the departed souls. Instead, they peacefully recall their happy moments while heading towards the afterlife. In this afterlife scene, Nanami also says something important to Gojo. Nii-san mentioned as a suggestion, move north if you want to look for yourself, but from a different perspective. Move south if you want to remain the same. These words are giving us a clear understanding that if Gojo goes north, he will discover things from a completely different perspective. But if he moves south, things will remain as they are. And Nanami chose to go south, indicating that he didn't want to change himself and is now in the afterlife. Another thing to note is that the scene in the afterlife was on an airplane side, and later Gojo went to get something similar to an airplane, indicating that Gojo may have chosen the North Way. And we might see a concept like rebirth, because this series is a shonen manga, and such mysterious things are quite common. In this chapter, we are also shown a lotus flower, which if you Google it, will reveal the meaning of rebirth. Well, these are all points that Gojo hasn't died yet, but there are several fan theories as well. One interesting theory from a fan, which I personally find quite intriguing for continuing the story, is that Gojo will take rebirth as a curse that will directly go inside Itadori. Just like Sukuna entered Itadori's body in season 1, I understand that we want to see Gojo and Sukuna's fight again, but if the story is ruined by logic and concepts, that fight won't be as impactful. Therefore, I cannot say anything about Gojo's death right now because the situation is still very critical and anything is possible. So guys, this is another amazing video for Gojo fans. So if you haven't liked this, then like our video and subscribe us for getting more amazing videos. Until then, bye.